in the month of November 2024, I want to hit £100,000 revenue in that single month. Now, that's my aim. That's one of my biggest aims for this year. And in this video today, I'm going to break it down how I'm aiming to hit that number and how I'm going to plan and scale to hit those numbers. Because obviously I'm not near it yet. I'm not near that figure yet. So it's going to take a lot of scaling, it's going to take a lot of hard work, and it's going to take a lot of quick hard work as well. So basically, I'm having to work as effectively as possible in order to generate that sort of growth, to reach 100,000 in the month of November. Now, fully believe I can do it. I know I can do it. It's just a case of putting the right things together, doing the right things, and I will for sure hit that number. But I just need to do the right things. I need to put my effort in the right places, and I need to create the best systems possible in order to hit that level. Now, there's a couple of other things outside of Etsy that I'm going to utilize to help promote my Etsy stores, and one of the main things being organic traffic. Now, I have a few Etsy stores at the moment. However, I'll break it down in a minute. I'll break down the number of Etsy stores I'm going to need. I'm going to break down how I'm going to market everything organically, and so on and so forth. So first thing, how many stores do I actually need? I calculated it, and I plan to have 7 Etsy stores. Now, you might think, okay, 7 doesn't really seem like a lot. You might thought, okay, he's going to need way more than that. But I think 7 is a good amount, because on every single Etsy store I have at the moment, I list 5 items a day. So that's 5 new listings. I'm going to write 5 listings per day. Per store. So at the moment, I'm doing about 20-25 listings a day if I can. Sometimes I do 4 listings a day on a store. Sometimes I do like 5 listings a day. It's purely however many I get done, however many I've got up in like stock, I guess. But at the moment, I've got like 2 weeks of drafts worth of listings. So I can basically do nothing for the next 2 weeks and still be able to put out 5 listings a day per store for me at the moment. So that's what I'm currently doing. That's my current situation. So I do have the capacity to be able to create more listings in every day. And if I'm listing 5 items per day per store, it means I'll be listing a total of 7 times 5, which is 35 listings a day. And 35 listings a day is like an incredibly high amount of output, and that is 1,000 listings a month. That's over 1,000 listings a month. And when you're doing 1,000 listings a month, it basically means you have an incredibly high chance of finding winning products. And 1,000 listings a month will probably be what is needed to hit 100,000 a month, especially in the POD space. And you can output an incredibly high amount of listings by yourself if you actually know how to create listings quickly and you have everything figured out in terms of systemizing things and not spending your own time on the stuff which isn't that complicated. And that's one of the things that I'm going to do later on this year. I'm not doing it at the moment. However, I do want to have a couple of people helping me create listings. So I want to have a designer. I'm pretty capable in Photoshop. My skills are okay. I'm not like a top tier designer. However, I know how to do like pretty basic things on Photoshop. I know how to create decent designs. I create mock-ups as well. That's one of my skills that I'm really good at and becoming better at, is creating really good mock-ups. And that's one of the things that allows me to create listings so quickly. You might think, how does he make 35 listings a day? Or how is he going to make 35 listings a day? And it's purely because I've just got the right systems in place. It's because I've got the mock-ups ready. And one of the things which people don't consider when they're creating Etsy stores or they're creating Etsy print-on-demand stores, or you're going to sell in a new niche, is that you need to make sure the niche that you're selling in isn't too difficult to make listings for. Because in print-on-demand, it's largely a numbers game. So if you're not able to make even like 3 listings a day for a store, if it's going to take you an hour or 2 hours per listing to create a listing per store, then that's too long. If it's taking you more than an hour to create a listing for a store, that's too much time, because I can create a listing in like 10 minutes. And I'm not saying that you're slow, I'm saying that the listing is too difficult to create, so it's not going to be that easy to scale it. Now, an easy example of this is the candle stores, is where the candle stores, they literally just put like some text on a candle. Those are the easiest listings to make. I could probably make like 100 listings an hour of those listings. But yeah, that's an example of how you should think about, is this store worthwhile doing? Because how long is it actually going to take me to create a listing for the store? Now, if you see a store with like 1,000 listings, but you think it's going to take about an hour and a half to create each listing, then probably not the best idea to do it, because it's just going to be so time consuming. There's going to be better choices or better places to spend your time. And this links back to the first thing I said in the video. I'm choosing the right places to spend my time. Now, 35 listings a day and 7 Etsy stores. I plan to have 7 Etsy stores open and running and listing by the time it gets to August. So August is my, like, the 1st of August, I plan to have 7 stores open, and for each store, you can't list 5 a day straight away. So my plan is to increase by 1 listing per week on every single store. So say I open a store in April, by the time I get to the first week of May, it'll be 4 weeks since I opened the store, and that will mean I'll be able to list 4 listings per day because it's been 4 weeks. And it will only take 5 weeks to get up to my 5 listings per day goal per store. And I might end up listing more items per day. Depends on what the store niches that I go into are, because I might find out there's like the candle store. Maybe I decided to do a candle store, and that candle store I can list like 100 items a day or something crazy like that. Then I'll do that instead. I'll list 100 items a day on that store, or I'll slowly build up to it. Probably won't list 100 items a day because it's pretty ridiculous for a store, but maybe. We'll see. You never know. Okay, so 7 stores, 5 listings a day on every single store. By the time it gets to August, I want to have all 7 stores open, listing 5 items a day. So by the time it gets to November, I should really have like something around 5,000 listings across all of my stores. Maybe a little bit more than that, I'm not too sure. It just depends how quickly I get things done, but I should have around 5,000 listings by the time it comes to November on all of my stores. And if you think about it, if you actually break the numbers down, most of my listings, I worked out the averages, and every listing that I make at the moment on average makes me £20 per month. So if I have 5,000 listings by the time I get to November, I should be doing 100,000 a month. And that's excluding Q4. And so like the Q4 volume, so I could go up to 200 if I have 5,000 listings and they're all making me £20 a month or £40 a month in Q4 on average. It sort of just depends, and I'm really not sure because I've never done this scale before. I've never hit 100,000, or I've never hit 6 figures in a month on a store at least, and it's like all a little bit of a guesswork. Maybe someone in the comments has done these big numbers and they can correct me on the areas which I'm wrong on. But yeah, so stores is all covered. How am I going to organically promote some of my stores? Now, all of them are not going to have organic promotion. I'm going to purely focus on one of the niches, which is going to be aimed at like a younger to middle-aged demographic, so like 18 to 35-year-olds. And this 18 to 35-year-old demographic store is going to basically be I'm going to have a lot of dedication put into promoting organic content or creating organic content for that store, because I've seen another store do it and they got like 4,500 sales in a month, and that's purely because they brought so much traffic from TikTok. Now I want to do the same thing for this store, which is 18 to 35-year-olds targeting. Now I probably wouldn't do it if I had a store which was targeting granddads or grandmas. It probably just wouldn't be possible at all. And that's why I'm doing it for this store, which is like the youth or millennials. I don't know what the generation is, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to post on TikTok just 1 time per day, and then same for Instagram, 1 time per day, and 1 time per day. So 2 social media platforms, 1 time a day, and I'm going to do that probably beginning of May or mid of May. I'm going to start that, and then just posting 1 item a day. And that's probably going to be an incredibly up and down. I don't know how to say it, but maybe it's not going to be as consistent as my other stores because I'm relying on the organic content a little bit more. Now, don't get me wrong, that niche that this is going to be in is very good on Etsy already. Now, I've seen stores that are making like 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month, purely from Etsy traffic only. It's just this one store that I saw did like 4,000 sales, which was about like 80,000 in a single month because they just blew up on TikTok. They got like 10 million views on a couple of videos and it just went crazy. But that's what I plan to do, because I have skills in the past where I did TikTok organic. I did TikTok and Instagram like posting to promote products, and I got around 80 million views across the space of 8 months, and which is like 10 million views a month. So if I can just do a similar level to that, off an incredibly low output, which is 1 post per day, then I should be able to do pretty well off that organic posting. It's always worth a try anyway. This isn't going to cost me too much time. This is probably going to take me max 45 minutes a day to create those two posts and put those 2 posts out there as well. Now, 45 minutes a day isn't that much time, and considering the potential ROI, it's not guaranteed, but considering the potential ROI that I could have for just posting 1 time per day, then I think it's massively worth it. And of course, if I find that this is absolutely crazy, I become a goat at TikTok or whatever, then I'll probably start promoting it for my other stores as well. But we'll figure that out when I get to it. Now, this also comes down to a thing with branding, which is a thing which I'm trying to do over the long term. I'm not going to be so much focused on it this year because I'm purely just focused on volume, just trying to get the sales in, trying to get the money in, basically. And I'll be focusing on branding my stores over like next year probably, and then building them up for an exit, because that's my ultimate goal, is to exit an Etsy store. And I mean, if there are any buyers watching this, maybe there's some Etsy store buyers watching this, if you are interested in buying a store, let me know, because for sure I'd like to get in contact with you and see what my stores are worth, because I'm not actually sure. I'm only valuing my stores at the moment on 1 times annual profits. So whatever the profit I make in a year is, that's what I'm estimating my store to be worth. And I'm not sure whether it's going to be worth to sell an Etsy store. Of course, it would slowly decline over time if you just left it to cash flow. However, if you did want to just get out of the Etsy store, I guess that's a good way to just cash grab and leave it. But yeah, that's the thing to come for in the future. I'm not planning to exit any Etsy stores this year, but maybe if I get a good offer from someone who's willing to buy it in cash, we'll see. Maybe I'll exit one. And aside from all the Etsy stuff, I'm also planning to launch my 3PL, which is like a personalised 3PL. So it's going to be a POD 3PL, which is here in the UK. And my timer is going off, but I'll continue speaking because why not? My food's ready. So my personalised items 3PL is going to be essentially providing personalised items for sellers on Etsy. And this is the main target demographic which I'm going for. Maybe there's some people who do Shopify personalised items and they want to buy my personalised goods, but we'll see. We'll come to that bridge when we cross it. However, the main focus is for those Etsy sellers, because there's no supplier doing this at the moment. There's no supplier or no person who can supply like super unique goods for the Etsy platform. Now, if you're trying to buy a product or trying to find a supplier for a product which is fairly unique and it's not really something that would be mass produced and mass supplied, and you look on something like Printify or Printful and you just can't find it anywhere, this is what's going to be the solution for you. Now, even if you use someone like Printify, I'm pretty sure I can beat every single one of Printify's prices because they are incredibly inflated. If you look at a tumbler, for example, I can ship and do the engraving, blah, 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 for like £6 for a tumbler. And that includes shipping in, that includes me doing the work, like an hourly rate for a member of staff, so on, everything added up in total would cost about £6 for me. And on Printful, the cheapest price is like £11 or £11.80 or something like that. So that just shows how inflated the Printify prices are, because they have no competition. They have a couple other competition like Printful and the other big online suppliers, but there's no one still who can supply the unique goods. If you're looking for like a specific unique product that you've seen someone selling and you want to sell the same, and you don't have the equipment, because some of the equipment like this, like some of my items over there, is very expensive. Like I've got a good few grand worth of equipment in my room at the moment, and because it's not cheap. So that's why there's an issue with supply for this, and no one's supplying it. No one's supplying like the unique goods, because I think everyone thinks it's like a unique market. There's not enough demand for. However, if you're in some of these Etsy communities, you can see how much money you can make off just being a supplier if you can supply and make these unique products. And that's one of the things that I found out, so that's what I'm putting my time in. This is launching on the 15th of May for people that follow me on Twitter, like for a beta. And then I'm going to do like a full release on the 1st of June. And then we'll go from there. And the 3PL is also going to include some other services. However, I'm not including that in my 100,000 month. My aim for the 3PL is to handle 10,000 orders this year, which is excluding all of my orders that I'm going to do. And that's the aim. So just handle 10,000 orders from clients. And I'm going through a similar route as well. So with the organic route for my Etsy stores or one of the Etsy stores, I'm going to purely promote this organically. And this is purely going to be from my YouTube and from my Twitter, where I'm hopefully going to get the clients for the 3PL. It's a similar thing to what Charlie Morgan has done. Charlie Morgan's basically promoted his agency through creating interesting videos on YouTube about business. And that's what I'm doing as well. And hopefully it does work. I have everything planned out. However, for the 3PL, I have literally no experience supplying items for other people. The only experience I have is supplying items for my own customers. So it's basically the same thing, however, working B2B instead of B2C. And other than that, it's just going to take a shit ton of volume and a shit ton of work, because this the numbers that I'm putting down here, I can say it very easily. 35 listings a day, I can just say that out of my mouth very easily. However, with everything else combined, so with the YouTube promotion, with creating one YouTube video a day for my 3PL, with creating one TikTok and Instagram reel a day, it all adds up, all the time adds up, and having enough time to put together, to do the listings every single day and get the consistent listings out every single day. On top of this, I've got to do product research every single day because I don't actually have all of the niches ready. I have about 4 niches. No, I don't have 4 niches anymore. I had about 4 niches before I started a couple stores, and now I'm basically sitting on one which I'm not really sure about if I should sell it anymore. So now I'm basically back to the drawing board and I'm just doing product research again, trying to find good niches and good products to sell. Because the thing with Etsy is you can just chuck a bunch of different random products onto a store, and finding a specific new niche to sell in is often a little bit difficult because it's like you could sort of put most products on a different store that you've already got. So like you've got to find like a really niched sub-niche for me to start a new store in and sell in that, rather than just put the products onto an existing store, if that makes sense. So that's when it gets a little bit difficult. So product research I have to spend a lot of time doing, maybe like 2 hours a day, on top of the posting, on top of the 3PL running, on top of all the management, all the store management, the posting listings and creating the listings, creating designs, etc., everything as well. So it's just purely a load of volume that I'm just putting in myself into, chucking myself fully in the deep end, doing as much as I can to hit that goal. It's a very insane goal, because I said this to my friend as well. I said, regardless, if I'm aiming for 100,000 a month and I only hit 50,000, big deal, big deal. I've aimed for 100,000 and I've hit halfway. I hit 50,000, that's still very impressive. Now, if I aimed for 30,000 and I only hit 15,000, that would be very depressing. And that's why I'm aiming so high. That's why I've also planned this all out. I've got this all planned. I do have a proper in-depth, I don't have my computer or my laptop with me, but I have this fully in my notes. I spend a lot of time on notes. I spend a lot of time just writing and planning, because I think writing and planning is very important in order to hit a goal like this, because I don't want to spend my time in the wrong places. That's what I'm trying to refine right now while I can, 6-7 months in advance of November, 7 months and a bit. And I'm trying to refine everything and make sure that there's nothing that I can waste my time on. I'm just trying to find the things that are going to give me the highest ROI in the time that I'm spending every single day. So if I'm working 14 hours a day, I'd rather optimize it and spend a couple more days, couple more weeks optimizing my systems, optimizing the things that I'm actually spending my time on, instead of just tracking myself in there and just starting to create. And I could just lose so much time because I did one thing wrong, etc. If that makes sense. So optimizing my time, finding the right things to do, and putting the work in, and I mean serious amount of work to hit the goal. And I believe I can do it. I'm hoping I'll come back here in November with a revenue screenshot or revenue screenshots of my stores showing a £100,000 month. Right, that's the end of the video. This was mainly created for myself, because I mainly created this like a documentation for me to look back in on November and see, okay, here's what I did wrong at this time, here's what I changed, because I might be doing a completely different strategy in a couple months' time. Things change day to day, so you never know. If you like me and you find me interesting, maybe someone does, follow me on Twitter, and I'll keep you updated with my story, my growth, my day-to-day, and some more in-depth advice, more interesting day-to-day advice, mental